Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Courtside with Rob and Washut. As you can see, I am not courtside right now, starting a little early. Going to head over from the parking lot. Yeah, what's up, man? Head over to the parking lot because I'm proud to announce the first official sponsor of Courtside with Rob and Washut, my good friends at Group Therapy Bike Tours. Group Therapy. As you can see, the trolley is rolling behind me in full effect. These dudes are fired up. It is a sold-out game here against Oregon at PBA. Pretty much every single game through the rest of the season is sold out. And let me give you a heads up here. It's cold and rainy right now, but as you can see, they have the insulated bike heaters on side. I've done it before when it's in there, and you're going to be warm and dry the entire time. And it's a blast, fun for all ages. It's not just a college kid thing. Everyone's from 1 to 92 can come out there. And pregame, postgame, whenever game for Nebraska basketball. Anyway, I'm going to head over to the arena right now, and we will officially take you courtside to preview another big home game for Nebraska against the Ducks. All right, see you in a minute. All right, I'm all back here, set up, ready to roll in PBA on press row. And I forgot to mention, go to grouptherapybiketours.com to set up your tour today. Like I said, it's a ton of fun. And here's the best part. Type in the promo code Nebrasketball. Nebrasketball. You know what I'm talking about. And that'll save you 15% on your next ride. So have some fun, save a little money in the process, and make sure you tailgate and pregame and all that good stuff for these last remaining home games the proper way with my good friends at Group Therapy Bike Tours. Anyway, enough with the sponsorship. Let me just give you a little rundown here. We are officially not quite courtside, but like I said, we're in the arena, and give you a little glimpse. Press row. This is where I sit. That's my view. Been doing this for my 18th season now. Still blows my mind that it's been that long, but seen a lot of highs and lows here, but this season has been, as you might expect, by far the most fun, entertaining, and baffling that I can remember. I talked about it last week that there's just something about this group that is so different from many others that I've covered, in the sense that that resilience, the fact that they never waver, all that good stuff, especially on the road, is unlike anything I've seen from a Nebraska team in quite some time, maybe ever on this beat, and that is, I think, going to carry them a long way as they make this push to the postseason. But here's the X factor now. So they're midway through January, and arguably they've already eclipsed their most daunting part of the schedule. I think when the Big Ten officially released its schedule before the season, you looked at this first couple weeks of January as kind of like, just keep your head above water for the Huskers. Try not to be 0 or be 1-6 or whatever it may be, and set yourself up to try to make a late surge. Well, Nebraska clearly surpassed those expectations and have put themselves well ahead of the curve, built up so much equity with their road performances. And now when you get these home games starting tonight against Oregon, this is where you can really separate. The fact that the January schedule was so road heavy, well, guess what? That flips come February, where you're getting a ton of not just home games, but weekend home games. That's kind of like the other part of it. Is not only is Nebraska going on the road a bunch in January, but every road game is on a weekend, and every home game is on a Tuesday or Wednesday night at 8:00. So that flips in February. And the fact that they are so far out in front right now is going to be invaluable, because now they don't need to make up a bunch of ground in February. Now they just need to hold serve, and everything that they do beyond that is icing on the cake in terms of the potential NCAA tournament seeding, which, as it stands right now, is looking unbelievably good. Mike DeCourcy, I'm sure many of you saw, just put Nebraska as a 1 seed. A lot of the bracketology that I saw following the Indiana win had them as a 2 or a 3. And so they are very much in the discussion to be one of the top 2, 3, maybe even 1 seeds in the NCAA tournament at their current pace. Now, obviously, a lot of work to do. We're only just past the halfway point of the season. But like I said, with what they've done to this point in the season, they have set themselves up for a golden opportunity come February, March to really solidify themselves as one of the top seeded teams in the NCAA tournament. And then obviously that comes with that, a much better draw, and the realistic chances of winning that first NCAA tournament game just go through the roof. So it starts tonight. Obviously, Nebraska, we can talk about it. I can talk about it. The fans can talk about it. All the NCAA, tournament bracketology and all that stuff. But guess what, Nebraska? They don't care. They care about Oregon. And I think that's a big part of why they are where they are right now. That one game at a time mentality. It starts with their head coach. But I think the difference is that it echoes through the locker room with the senior leadership that they have. Rick Mast is not going to let anybody look ahead. Sam Hoiberg, Price Sanford, who else? Cale Jacobson, Barricade. None of those guys are going to let themselves get caught up in this success, and that's key because there's been plenty of times when Nebraska finally gets on a little bit of a roll, they start feeling good about themselves, and boom, it comes crashing down. Well, that hasn't happened yet, and I don't really see any instance where it's going to happen. Now, we're going to lose a game. I mean, the fact that the idea that they're going to go undefeated, I guess I'm not going to rule it out, but it seems unlikely at this point. But the key is that just as much as they handle success, I think that they're going to be able to handle victory as well. Handle defeat as well. So that's, I think, going to be a critical component to this. So here I am. I'm finally courtside. There's the arena. Let's just take a walk down here. See some familiar faces. This is a whole new thing. Nobody knows that I'm doing this. So I'm just going to go and pop up here. Pop up here. There's Kent Pavelka, Jeff Smith, eating some donuts and cupcakes. What's up, Coach? Good. You're courtside with Robin Washut right now. New thing I'm trying out. Basically, just giving. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. What do you think tonight?
I think every game in the Big Ten's challenging. Their size scares everybody. They probably have their backs against the wall. That always scares you as a coach and a team. So I think it'll be challenging, just like they all are.
And that's a good point. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate you. That's a good point because there's a lot of discussion with this like one seed conversation. What is Nebraska? What do they have to do to get a one? What do they have to get a two? All that stuff. But the idea of looking past anyone in this conference is a fool's errand because you saw it with Michigan. They almost lost at Penn State. They did lose at home to Wisconsin, a Wisconsin team that Nebraska beat on this very floor by 30 points. So I know there's some people that say, Nebraska got a 100% chance being 20-0 going into Michigan. Well, if the Nebraska and the players have that mentality, they will lose, and it could be tonight. So that's what the importance of being locked in and really buying in to that game by game mentality that gets you to 20-0, because you can't get to 20-0 without beating Oregon. Can't get to 20-0 without going on the road and winning at Northwestern, or going on the road and beating Minnesota, where you've struggled quite a bit over the last few years. So, I think that's Coach Smith made a great point there, where, if they come in here and just expect to roll, I know it's about 11.5, open at 11.5 point spread. I've seen 10.5 somewhere. Either way, you're talking about double digit point spread here. If Nebraska comes in just thinking they're going to roll and, kind of go through the motions against this Oregon team, despite as much as Oregon has struggled, they do present some challenges, and we'll get to that here in a minute. But this is a situation where Nebraska's got to be locked in, because if they take anyone lightly, it'll catch them, and they will suffer that first loss. But again, I like their chances tonight because of the mentality, because of the way that they treat every game the same, and they don't overlook anyone. So, what does Nebraska have to do to win tonight? Starts inside. The best things Oregon does is offensive rebound and protect the rim on defense. So closing out possessions, you're going to see, I think, Nebraska's strategies. They're two bigs, Rink Mass and Berke Bukunjel. When they're on the floor, their primary responsibility isn't going to be so much getting rebounds. It's going to be clearing out Nate Biddle and Kwame Evans and all those 6 or 7 foot, 6'10", 6'9" front court that Oregon has, and letting the guards come crash to finish possession. So this is going to be a huge Sam Hoiberg game, a huge Jamarcus Lawrence, Cale Jacobson game, where those guards have to be able to crash after every shot and finish possessions with defensive rebounds. And on the other end, it's all about being smart. When you get into the lane, if you're going to shoot it, you better do it under control, under 2 feet, and go up strong. If you're going to, but the thing is, if you're going to get in there, you got to be able to pick your spots and then draw Oregon's defense off the perimeter, because one thing that they do really well, along with block shots, is they chase you off the 3-point line. So when you do attack the rim, you got to be smart. But the other part of that too is you can't let them make you settle for bad 3-point shots because you're intimidated to go at them in the rim. So decision making offensively, I think, is going to be a critical part for Nebraska in this one. And the good news is they've made really good decisions pretty much all year. I expect them to do that again tonight. But if they go in there and get a little reckless inside and let those block shots turn into transition opportunities for Oregon, that could give them some problems. So being selective and smart when you attack the paint while also still being aggressive and not settling on the perimeter is kind of the formula Nebraska has to follow tonight. So we'll wrap it up with that for now. Again, check out my great sponsor, Group Therapy Bike Tours. It's grouptherapybiketours.com. Promo code Nebrasketball, 50% off your first ride. And man, let's have a night.